Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and today we're going to be looking at using our design cycle to create different iterative tests in our sim and to record our testing data in what's called the My Malaria data sheet. The data sheet that we're going to be looking at here is going to be where we decide what the best treatment for malaria is. And in this data sheet, we're going to be collecting data on what is called iterative testing. Iterative testing is when we repeat a process in a way that considers the results of the previous design. In other words, it's looking at what we did in our design and using what we see to make a new design. With our simulator, we're going to be looking at the tests that we create and using that data to decide what's the next test that we are going to create. And that is called iterative testing. And we're going to be doing that obviously in our sim and collecting it in your data sheet. So, as always, when you go into your sim, you're going to be creating your tests, deciding on how many days you want in your test, what kind of drugs, what size dose, and you're going to be running your tests as many times as you need to help you narrow down what's the best treatment. As you run your tests, you're going to take all of the data that we see in our data table here, and we're going to be putting it into our My Malaria data sheet. Now, the My Malaria data sheet, it looks like this. It has the home page, which you can see here at the bottom of the tab. This is where you'll start. This page is where you'll go to help you kind of work through your testing day in and day out. As you move to the next tab, you'll see iterative tests number 1 through 10. And you'll notice they all look the same. Tests 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. In each of our tests, you're going to be collecting the same data. You're going to be telling us in your 7-day trial what drug you want to use. Do you want to use drug A, B, or C? You're going to tell us what kind of dose you're going to use, small or large. And then if there's any days that you don't use a drug, you'll put an X. So an example test that you might run in day 1, you might use drug A, and then day 2, drug B, and then day 3, drug C. And then let's say you don't use any more of the drugs in any other days. And then maybe for the first day, you use a small dose. The second day, let's say you use a large dose. And then on the third day, let's say you use a large dose again. You'll run this test as you have recorded it here and collect your data. In the plan strategy analysis, this is where you'll tell us, well, what was your strategy here? Maybe your strategy was to try all the drugs. And then once you've tried all the drugs once, you'll look at your data and decide, well, how did it go? And maybe when you're looking at your data, you see that we have a lot of high resistance. So, not good for resistance levels. And maybe you'll see that the cost was really low. Cost was low, and that is good. Notice I'm recording what my strategy was and what I see in the data. And from here, this is where the iterative test comes. I'm going to decide, well, what would I do different next time? Do I want to keep the same type of drugs? Do I want to change the order? Do I want to change the dose? Do I want to change the day? And your job is to help you create test by test by test until you think you found the best drug malaria treatment. As you go through this, the home page again is to help you organize your thinking. As you're going through, if you want to record your successful completions of each criteria, so for example, test 1 here, let's say we had a really low cost, I can go to my home page and where it says minimize treatment costs, I can do maybe test number 1. That was one of my tests to help to minimize the treatment costs. And as I create my tests, I can record which of my tests maybe minimizes side effects. Maybe once I get to test 8, I have a really good one that minimizes side effects. Maybe at test number 20, I have one that minimizes drug resistance. And as I'm recording, I can record any notes in here. So maybe your test that worked well for the minimizing treatment cost had all drugs used in test One, maybe the strategy for minimizing side effects was used all small doses. And maybe what worked for minimizing your drug resistance was, I don't know, um, used all large drugs equally for all days, and so on. So, notice this is a place for you to record your data as you go through your iterative testing. If you finish iterative testing 1 through 10, you can then move to 11 through 12, 21 through 30 if you need. And if you need more pages, we have some blank pages here. If you get stuck and you don't know what to do next, on the right hand side are a set of questions that help spur on some thinking to help change your tests. How well did each malaria treatment perform? If the drug resistance for the malaria treatment was high, how could you reduce it? And so on. If you get stuck, feel free to use those questions to help you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we are going to be creating our iterative testing in the sim. This is how we're going to be collecting that data, and this is where you can look to organize your thoughts. Go ahead and complete the survey. If your X is in yellow or red, reach out, and good luck with your testing.